Hello, dear viewers. Support me by subscribing to my channel and share my video if you like it. And also, make sure you comment your thought. Now let's start the video. Fire was a tool of destruction and life. It was a double-edged sword, one that I had to learn to control if I wanted to win the real war. And the key to do so was to control my emotions perfectly, at least on a human point of view. Anger was the original fuel I had used to lit my fire for the first time, but anger was unreliable. I needed to find another focus. One as strong but more malleable, something that didn't blind me. And my son, Targaryen, had helped me to find that. The one thing was triumph above everything. My overwhelming need to protect my children, something almost every parent has. Focus on that thought. Feel it burning inside of you. Let that burning sensation spread over your body, your lungs, and then breath. Targaryen instructed. Warmth spread through my body. I had faith, not in the asshole that had decided to throw me into his godly chess game, but in my son and his teachings. I had faith that I would succeed. And with that in mind, with that sole thought in mind, alongside my burning desire to protect it, I breathed out, and a spark of flames big enough to light a cigarette came. Well, that's a beginning. Targaryen tilted his head. He was probably expecting more than a human-sized cigarette lighter. But I couldn't care less. I had actually breathed fire. Could the same process work with other parts of my body? Hey! I threw a punch to the air, repeating what Targaryen had instructed me, and once again, a tiny fire erupted from my fist. Using your claws? Well, that's new. I suppose even I can learn about fire, Targaryen said, somewhat impressed. I totally thought it would take more than one class, I smiled. I was happy with my progress, but even though I had actually managed to create fire, I was far from being deadly, unless my enemies were mosquitoes. My fire powers were useless. Well, the first fired easy, Targaryen nodded. Increasing your firepower. That's the hard part. Fair enough. Nothing was ever entirely free, and I wasn't against training a bit. You also need to learn to summon your fire without so much focus. Otherwise, it's pretty useless. I mean, it took you 55 minutes to focus. Once you are out of that focus, you won't be able to summon the fire within at all. Targaryen added. Once again, he was right. A weapon that needs 2 hours of preparation before battle just to burn someone's eyebrows off was useless. Focus, firepower, and technique. I have a lot of homework cut out for me. Don't worry, Dad. I heard you learn how to use every weapon with ease. I'm sure this will be the same, Targaryen said with clear pride, on the fact that I had mastered every weapon in the known world. An accomplishment that was linked to the fact I had the left hand of God. But fire wasn't considered a weapon, which meant I had, for the first time in ages, the need to learn from scratch. But I wasn't worried. I had a good start and a good teacher. Expectations I planned to surpass. I know you will. We are awesome. Our family is awesome. Targaryen hissed happily. We ravens are also awesome. Totally unrelated to this, but a random raven, added, Of course, the Raven clan is definitely among the best. I chuckled. If I wasn't all black, I would be blushing, the Raven replied, making me laugh even harder. Daenerys POV. Peace can be a type of torture when you don't know what your other half is doing. Was Ronard. Okay? Did he miss me? So many things were running through my mind, so many thoughts. But in the end, they all came to the same conclusion. I missed my husband a lot. We should be there with him fighting, Lyanna muttered close to Daisy. You know him. Even if we were there, he would put us on the safest battalion, or force us to stay on Bear Island. Daisy chuckled. At least here we defend his family. Our family. I suppose, Lyanna nodded. Runard is like that, always putting himself on the line. It's both annoying and vexing. I smiled, announcing my presence to both of them. My queen, the both said in one voice. For now, let's forget all the formalities. I smiled at them. I want to know more about Ronard. How was he as a baby, as a kid? I want to know everything I can. Well, he was always a little bit off, Daisy said with a thoughtful expression. How so? I inquired. Well, he never behaved like a baby. He was beyond his age, Daisy answered. I suppose that's where my little princess gets her brains. I chuckled. And how he fights, it's unreal. I've never seen him losing. It's like the moment he took the sword itself became a part of him, Daisy added. My mother used to say he was the best our generation had to offer. Smart, strong, and noble. Now she thinks he's an idiot, but that's mostly because he went to war without even telling her. I can see why she feels like that. I laughed. Reynard was an expert at giving stress to those who loved him. That does sound like him. I smiled. Do you remember how uncomfortable he was flirting with Sansa? Lyanna chuckled, looking at her sister. Oh yeah, Daisy laughed. He tried so hard to fall for her, dates, kisses, and everything, but in the end it was as clear as the day he liked her as a sister or a cousin. As a sister or a cousin, that was a red flag on my family. Not anymore. Did she love him? I inquired. I don't think so. Daisy shook her head. She was happy with his efforts and stuff. I mean, it's hard not to like Ronard if you are on his good side, but I don't think she loved him. Maybe she did, but I can't say for sure. I never liked her, Lyanna muttered. Why? I asked. I don't know. I guess it is because she was afraid to think for herself like the majority of the time. It was annoying, Lyanna sighed. Well, Lady Stark is said to be very strict, Daisy commented. Lady Stark, Ronard talked about her a few times. I sighed, remembering how he would describe her as crazy and unstable like her sister. Maybe it runs in the family, which brings a concern to me, was the madness of my dad running in my veins. Nothing pleasant, I'm sure, Daisy scoffed. Well, she better behaves. Ronard is royalty now, she can't do anything to him anymore. Lyanna stated, with a hint of concern flashing through her eyes. She can't do anything to us, right? If she tries, the fire will welcome her, just like it did with Viserys, I said with a dark, grim tone. I doubt she's that crazy, though, Daisy commented. And for the sake of House Stark, I hope she was right, for if anyone threatened my family, they would feel my wrath and die 1,000 times on the flames. I gave the Tyrells a few days to locate all the wildfire under the city, while I trained with Neltharion, little by little, increasing my firepower. Quite literally. I still was a long way from being useful in battle, but I was getting there. I didn't have to meditate like I did before, meaning I could summon fire whenever I wanted, which was an amazing improvement. Meaning all I had to do now was focusing on increasing the amount of fire I was able to summon and expel. But regardless of that, I was happy with the development. It was a very enjoyable activity with Neltharion to do, who also enjoyed teaching me. Though learning how to control my fire-bending powers had its downs, for one, every raven was eagerly waiting for me to control them. For they wanted me to make them the delicious plate of food I talked about before. Popcorn. My Conley is... A raven flew into my shoulder. The Tyrells seem to have located all the wildfire within the city. They sent a letter stating they are waiting for your command. Well, that was fast, without my help. I expected them to take more time. Very well, I had now to send a letter with very detailed steps of what I wanted. If everything played out right, I would end this war with the lowest amount of casualties possible. With the scroll the Tyrells had sent in hands, I gathered my war council to discuss how we would approach the situation. I say we use Jaime as a diversion. His dear old dad won't resist. Oberyn offered, a good idea but not really efficient, I sighed, using Jaime as a pawn. Would indeed give me results. But those results would at much be minimal. Then again, I could make a show out of his dead for all the Lannister men to see. But while effective, that idea had a problem. It would, by honor standards, dishonor me. We could execute him before battle, sending his head to King's Landing. That should be enough to destabilize their game, making them suffer for a bit, at least buying us enough time to enact our plan. Jon commented, leaving everyone in the room shocked. I mean, if you want your grace... Holy crap! Jon, that was dark, and I love it. I had to admit, his idea was very efficient, and would send a message that while untrue would shake the queen, Jaime's head would make her believe I also killed her kids. That has to be the dragon in you. There's no way a wolf can come up with that. Oberyn chuckled. What do you mean? Ned Stark asked in a dangerously low tone. No offense, but you would probably kill him, bury him, without never exploiting his usefulness. Oberyn shrugged. We don't like these mind games in the north, nor we need them. Ned Stark stated, well, our king is a northerner, and yet he plays the game like a master. Oberyn chuckled. Yes, I nodded. Anyway, now that we have our plan, the next part is simple. We focus on abusing our range, while I deal with the catapults with Neltharion. You are going to mount him, Jon inquired with a hint of excitement on his normally serious voice. Yes, he is big enough for it, and I need to guide him. I nodded as I continued to explain them with detail how my three-part would work. First, I would deal with the traps and anchors. Second, my own archers would make death rain on the Lannisters, followed by Stage 3, the most important stage. because it needed the Tyrell's cooperation, because by that point, Cersei would start her plan, which we had to stop. If everything played according to the plan, I would have my wife sitting on the throne my next month. This was my last fight within the Seven Kingdoms, for my next battle was against the others. Tormund Giantsbane POV. I fucking hated scouting missions. It was like tempting death to come and fuck you, especially since that undead monstrosity had taken over the real North. His eyes were everywhere. Do not fear. He can't feel us, the weird-looking child said, holding my hand tight. I can keep this magic shield for a while. He won't see us. That is unless we make a sound. So how do we kill that monster? I asked, thinking of the Night King for what I knew. The King of the Undead was special, and that probably made his weakness special and unique. Valyrian steel on his heart, the child answered. So only the heart? I inquired. Yes. To kill him, yes. Cuts in other areas will only slow him. The tree-looking child nodded. So, why are scouting? As I was about to ask more about why we were here, Destiny decided to show me firsthand why we were here. From afar, I could see something under a massive iceberg. Is that a dragon? A dead one? The children muttered. We have to warn the others. If he keeps breaking the ice at this speed, it will take him a few months before he has that creature under his command. Undeads. Dragons. I can't believe what I'm saying, but I will take a vacation if I survive this. I seriously need it. I sighed as I followed the children back to camp. Night King POV. Feeble little things. They thought I hadn't seen them. Utterly pathetic, but for now, they would live. Their lives were inconsequential on the great scheme of things. They would soon die anyways. Soon all life would cease to exist. I will consume everything this world has to offer. Soon all life will be done. An era of darkness awaits, and I'm the one bringing it. Nick Fury Ravenicus POV. With the motherfucker I had been assigned to death, I had changed my sights to Beyond the Wall. A place full of secrets that could harm my master. And I wasn't going to allow that shit. Undead or not, that monster would not come without us giving Ronner detailed information about his enemies. Flight high, boys and girls. We will be arriving north soon. Cool, I commanded with a very deep caw. Yes, my team answered in a single caw. Good, I cawed back. Verse POV. I had overplayed my hand. The current queen wanted to blow up the realm, and I had yet to talk with Jon. He needed to know he had a better claim than Ronner and Daenerys. Jon Targaryen was the rightful king, but he had no army backing him up. I knew if push came to shove, Lord Stark would ally himself with Jon, but that was about it. I need to thread my web very carefully, otherwise I will lose everything, I sighed. I woke up the next morning with excitement. Today was the day that I was going to attack King's Landing. The Tyrells had found the majority of the wildfire, meaning I was clear to attack the Lannisters. I was going to lead the attack, charging with my dragon in the front lines. My dragon son and I would be more than enough to take care of all the enemy traps ahead, including the ones that Tywin Lannister. Today is the day, I shouted for everyone to hear. Today we take down those fake lions and everything they love. Needless to say, my men started to shout a chant in agreement. They had been ready to fight for me, see me long before, and now it was their time to shine and prove how loyal they were. A suicidal thought, but one that helped me. Not to be a party pooper, but Oberyn approached me. Can we trust those flowers? They have jumped sides like a game of hot potato. Lovely reference, and no, we can't trust, but for now, I know they are playing on my side. I chuckled. After all, it was very hard to lie to me when I had ravens spying their every move. We should be ready to march in a few hours, Ned Stark stated, mounting his horse. Are you going to ride your dragon ahead, or wait for us? I will wait for everyone to be ready. Once the men start marching, I will fly to the city with Neltharion, taking all their defenses, I answered. Very well, Ned nodded. Leave some Tywin for me if you happen to burn him, Oberyn added with a smirk. I chuckled. I will try. Are you guys ready? I asked my dragon son. I will not let you down. I will burn every enemy that stands in our way. Neltharion stated with absolute confidence. We are ready, caw. My ravens cawed in one voice. I smiled at their answers. As I laid my eyes on King's Landing, I could already see the castle from afar, and it had been only an hour since I left my men behind. Air travel does make a difference. Let's show them what we got, I shouted. Aye, caw. At my command, torrent of fire shot from Neltharion's mouth, burning every poor soul on its unforgiving path. setting a lot of unaware soldiers to blazes, melting eyes and burning their skin away, killing them a few seconds after the fire had taken them. Locate all the long-range defense posts. I ordered a few of my ravens, and in response they immediately flew to fulfill their mission. Fire, one man shouted from the ground, ordering the archers to shot. But little did they know, normal arrows can't hope to pierce the scales of a dragon, and if by some weird case I happened to be their target, with my skills and current mobility, well, let's say they had a better chance of getting an erection from Varys. Archers there, Nelda Tyrion, I pointed, immediately after they found themselves experiencing what did hell felt like. We located all the posts. One raven said, flying beside me and Neltharion. Where? Neltharion inquired. Taking my bow from my back, I smiled. How about we make this a friendly competition? I'm in, Neltharion hissed happily. I chuckled. I haven't even told you what it is. I don't care. I will win either way, Neltharion stated. Very well then, I chuckled. Let's see who kills more. Awesome. Don't be mad when I crush you. Neltharion was very, very, very competitive. We'll see, I smirked. Here we are, Cod, the raven we had been following, guided us to the wall defenses. Without even waiting for my command, Neltharion started to burn every person in the wall. Their screams of pain and agony were at this point surely filling the city with the catastrophic melody of despair, and I was the grand maestro of this orchestra, and like so, I would give them the best concert of their lives. Let's give them a show, I shouted, shooting arrows left and right, killing enemies with ease as my dragon son burned his way, and my ravens pushed the archers down the wall. The slaughter had begun. Tywin Lannister POV. The city was under attack, but instead the army I was expecting, it was only Ronard and his beast, and yet they were crushing my archers like they were nothing, but things were not so much out track. I still could defeat Ronard if I made him believe he won. And it would only be a matter of blowing him off with the wildfire. We are under attack, Cersei muttered, entering my office. I'm aware, I'm old, not blind, or deaf, I sighed. We will win, Cersei stated, the mountain standing by her side. The walls of King's Landing have never fallen down, no man has managed to do so. The key word being man, I interrupted her. For she was once again being an idiot. The sole reason the walls had been intact were because the idiots that had tried were idiots without big armies. And of course, they didn't have dragon. What use does a wall has if you can fly over it? Don't forget he rides a creature thought to be a fairy tale till now. He will die either way, by our sword or by our fire, Cersei stated. Your blind confidence in victory is almost adorable, but you are not a kid anymore, I sighed. Anyways, father, I have to go and see my son, Cersei commented. It was maybe the last time she got to see him. If things end up being bad, that is. Please tell him to put on his armor, I ordered. He will not fight, Cersei growled. He is the king. He needs to fight, and beside I don't need your opinion nor your approval, I stated with cold eyes looking at her. I won't let you. A single hand sign was more than enough to shut my daughter down. If she gets in your way to get the prince, don't hesitate to use force. Am I clear, Sir Gregor Clegane? I looked at my mad dog, who simply nodded and repaused, leaving with my daughter to retrieve my grandson. The slaughter continued, with Neltharion burning every in our path. Soon the city would be ours. My ravens had informed me that my army was going to arrive any minute now, meaning this battle would be over soon. Now, the rest was up to the Tyrells. They had to stop Cersei's backup plan. Now that was a bit complicated. One segment of wildfire was more than enough to set a big part of the city on fire, so if they missed even one, the consequences would be catastrophic. Let's focus now on the troops outside the walls. By this point, we had already burned all the archers and anyone close to the wall so as to not waste any time. It was time to focus on the others. Got it, Neltharion said, turning to the other troops. His fire was strong enough to break through wood, and even shattered stone. In short, the wooden gates of King's Landing were barely an inconvenience for us. But the main reason I had avoided to attack them until now was because I didn't want to push Cersei to her limits. At least not until my army was close, which it was the case now. I also wanted to give the Tyrells more than enough time to plan their approach at stopping Cersei and her suicidal plan. And by the information my ravens had been giving me, they had set a big part of their army to defend those delicate spots. Of the Tyrells depended if I gave my men the signal to enter the city or not. Tywin Lannister POV. Chaos, pure and absolute chaos. The walls of King's Landing were in flames, the citizens were running and crying in fear, and my army was broken. Fire and agony breaking their formations. Was our defeat always this unavoidable? One man, one simple man, was leveling my army like they were nothing, and all he had right now with him was a dragon, one dragon by his side, and everything I planned was burn into nothingness. In the end, it was me who was blind. I didn't have to see more to know that the moment Renard's army breached within the wall, everything would be lost. I underestimated the power that a dragon had, by a long margin. I thought a good formation and weapons would stop the beast, but they didn't. Arrows bounced off its skin, swords couldn't reach it, and catapults were too slow to aim at the beast, and were subsequently burned like the rest of my plans. "The gates are gone. The dragon blew them open," one of my soldiers said with fear, shaking. "Where is the king?" I shouted, turning to one of my men. "He is with the queen, my lord," the soldier answered. Even in the end, the idiot of a daughter I had was destroying our name. Even in defeat, a Lannister must be an example. "Bring the king to me, or die trying," I commanded. This was the last time I allowed my daughter to shame the family name, or what was left of it. If we were going to die, we would die being the lions we were. No grandson of mine was going to hide under a skirt. He was the damn king, and like a good captain, he had to sink with his boat. Besides, his mother's plan was to blow up King's Landing if we failed to win, and we were doing just that. Failing awfully to win this fight. Usse Lannister POV. Father had failed once again to stop Ranard. He had failed me for the last time, and he would burn with the city for it. He thought I wanted to take King's Landing with everyone in the city included, but the reality of my plan was a bit different, something I had kept secret to everyone. The city would indeed burn, but without Joffrey, the mountain, and me, I had other plans for us, for we would escape through the many city tunnels, leaving Renard and my father burning with the mountain on my side. I would be able to survive long enough to take what it was mine. "Why do we have to escape, Mother? I'm a king. The enemies will kneel when they see my radiance," Joffrey complained. "They will, but for now, we need to play our cards to the best of our possibilities," I sighed. "Well, if we don't have any other choice," Joffrey sighed. Behind me, the mountain commanded, and a second later, I noticed why he was giving us orders. Soldiers of Highgarden were in the tunnels, guarding the first explosive of the chain that would set the city on fire. "How dare you to touch a king? You are not worthy of it." Joffrey hissed with anger at the mountain, failing to notice the soldiers ahead. "We have orders to not let you pass," one of the soldiers said, unsheathing their blade. "I am your queen, so who ordered you such a thing?" I inquired. "We have orders, and that's all you need to know," the soldier replied. "Stay back. I'll handle this," the mountain said, slowly walking towards the dozen soldiers with a smile plastered on his face. He wanted to break them, to make them suffer. "Make every single one of them suffer, but be quick. We have much an hour before the bear takes the city," I ordered. "That's more than enough time," the mountain laughed, dashing towards the soldiers with a wicked smirk of pleasure. The damage one dragon alone was able to deliver was truly terrifying. No wonder my ancestors kneeled to the first Targaryen. This was unbelievable. Just Ranard and his dragon were more than enough to level a big part of the defenses King's Landing had in place, and all it took him was about and a half, burning everyone and everything on his way. And he did all this with online 1 out of 3 dragons. I can only imagine what he would be capable of doing with his 3 dragons. Most likely, he would have no need for us. In that, Ranard had been very clear that if he didn't give the go signal to enter, we were forbidden to do so, as to avoid everyone getting caught in the explosion. We were winning, but I still couldn't allow my men to enter the city. Something was off. Cersei and Joffrey were nowhere to be seen, and that was pretty alarming in the big scheme of things. That woman was a wild card, unpredictable, and if she wasn't nowhere to be seen, it meant she had a plan that might fuck me up somehow. "Fine, Cersei," I ordered my ravens. "Call on it." My ravens cawed, flying off into the city to find the Mad Queen. I had a bad feeling about all this. With Cersei missing, it was almost unavoidable that something was going to go wrong for me, and I didn't like that prospect, so for now, I would keep my army outside the borders, waiting for Cersei to appear. After all, I couldn't afford the luxury to lose any soldiers. "Is that woman so important?" Neltharion asked. "I see what a problematic situation then," Neltharion hissed, going back to burning the army beneath us. Cersei Lannister POV. The mountain was destroying the Highgarden soldiers like they were nothing, ants. One by one, they were falling to his enormous and unparalleled strength. Each swing of his massively abnormal long sword resulted in another body on the ground, adding to his uncountable count of victims, and I couldn't help but smile at this sight. After all, taming this mad dog to obey me was probably the best choice I had ever taken. Finish them quickly. You'll have time to torture later, I smiled. Imagining Ronard under the mountain's foot. Boring, the mountain grumbled, picking up his pace. Caw! Caw! A raven. What is a raven doing here? Well, it didn't matter. Make them. Bob the Raven POV. I had found the Mad Queen. I had to let Yed, the Cornbringer, know she was on the secret tunnels of the city. She was planning to escape the mighty judgment of the Corn, and I was not going to allow it. The Corn was fair, and the Corn never failed to deliver its mighty and unforgiving punishment. My king! I caught in desperation seeing the Cornbringer ahead. Ronard Mormont POV. My king! A raven shouted, flying at full speed towards me. Yes, Caw. The Mad Queen and her mistake are hiding in the secret tunnels on the south part of the city. The raven replied. I smiled at this. My targets were waiting for me, and without even having to tell Neltharion what to do. He was already flying towards the location where we had to go. When we get there, let me handle them. I wanted to deal with the mad duo by myself. Sure, I completely demolished you in the competition we had earlier, old man. I think I got 3,000. And you got like 60, Neltharion stated proudly. You breathe fire, give me a break, I chuckled. So can you, but in smaller quantities, Neltharion shot back. Fair enough, I laughed. I wanted them to suffer for opposing me. You let them die too quickly, a voice thundered, coming from the tunnels we were heading. If I had to take a guess, it was Joffrey. This made me wonder. Is it bad? I want to kill somehow. I had never seen before. I wanted to see them cry and beg for death, only to suffer more. Joffrey screamed. Well, there I have my answer. It's not wrong if the object of my hate is that little psychopath. How can a mother love that? You know what? Forget that. Is a very stupid question, considering his mother is Cersei. I think they are there, Neltharion commented. Yeah, I nodded, pointing to a cliff. Drop me off. Sure, Neltharion did as he was told. I will go and help our army with the rest. Send a raven if you need me to pick you up. Sure, I chuckled. And with that said and done, I was left alone, waiting in the exit of the tunnel for my prey. Little by little, their voices grew louder and louder. They were coming closer. I was waiting for them, with my sword at hand, though I had to be careful, not because I thought they represented a challenge. Oh no, but because I had promised Dorne the mountain. And if this Cersei was anything like the Cersei I knew from the show, she had recruited that monster to her side. Well, 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 if it isn't the Queen of Nothing, I chuckled, seeing the blonde package of madness coming out of the tunnel. Haha, that ain't gonna happen, I laughed. Too bad Olenna couldn't stop you. Then again, when I ordered her to do so, I didn't account for the mountain. Ordered? Ronard, Cersei hissed. The one and only, I bowed. You can't find this amount of confidence and style in any other king. He is Ronard, Joffrey screamed, his face slowly going red, like blood in anger. I want him death, kill him. Jesus, the lungs on that boy. I chuckled. Let's see if you keep that bravado for long, Cersei hissed. You will die waiting, I chuckled. Kill him, Cersei ordered, the behemoth of a man she had on her side. With pleasure, the mountain smirked. Let's dance. I smiled as I started to walk towards him. The mountain and I started to walk towards each other, our battleground ready for our clash. The area was wide enough for us to fight, but not big enough for Cersei to try and escape. The mountain smirked at me gleefully, throwing off his night cloak to the ground. I will enjoy this. His face was scrunched up in a weird mix of anger and pleasure. There was no doubt he was a really unstable individual. With that troubling expression on his face, he slowly started to draw his long sword from his side. The blade made a hissing whisper that shouted danger as it was removed from the sheath. But for me, it was nothing but another Monday. Kill him! Oh yeah, I had forgotten about Joffrey. Don't hold back or I am going to break you. I smirked at the Gregor, ignoring Joffrey, tuning out everything that wasn't the mountain. Cocky little shit, the mountain snarled. I shrugged and smiled as I slowly started to approach him. I have the material to be cocky, can you blame? Press, the mountain scoffed. swinging his abnormally big, long sword at me. But with the same smile I had a few seconds ago, I ducked under his attack, dodging it with ease and giving a wink to the mad duo behind, while admiring the mountain was certainly fast for his size. "You bastard!" I turned my attention back to the fight. "Now where were we?" I chuckled, dodging the next few swings. He was fast, but not enough to even reach me. "Is that all you can do, Dodge?" the mountain snarled. "Oh, no, I can do so much more, but I promised Dorne I would bring your sorry ass alive to them." I smirked. "So you should feel lucky I won't go all in on you." A bug going all out. Terrifying, Gregor mocked. "Please, describe yourself in your free time. I'm not the poor doctor that deals with your sad mental state," I smiled. "Oh, caw! Damn!" Argit! Infuriated, the mountain charged forward, quickly sprinting towards me, rage consuming what little he had of rational thought. "Cersei, Joffrey," I said with my smile slowly fading, "allow me to show you how terrifying I can truly be." Just when Gregor was about to clash with me, I jumped above him, dodging his mindless charge, kicking him on the forehead with enough strength to push the behemoth back, who in response tried to attack me by swinging his blade. But with single step, I found myself in front the raging beast, and outside the range of his blade. "Don't be too hasty, big guy," I winked, trying to infuriate him even more. "I will fuck your skull," Gregor roared, throwing a punch. But moving ever so slightly to barely dodge the punch, I grabbed Gregor's wrist as his punch was passing in front of me and proceeded to throw the bastard up high into the air, to the surprise of everyone, including him who just couldn't grasp what in the seven was going on. I pulled down on his arm, slamming the Gregor headfirst into the ground, with enough strength to plant his head on the ground, and by result ending the battle. I'll be honest, he didn't live up to the hype, I chuckled, looking at the terrified expressions both Cersei and Joffrey shared. He's probably dead. Oh well, I don't think Oberyn will be too mad. I started to walk up to the mad duo to see Cersei pulling out a knife. "Don't you dare getting any closer, filthy animal." "A knife?" I laughed. "That's the equivalent of threatening a dragon with fire. Have some dignity and drop that toothpick." "I am the king. I command you to stop," Joffrey shouted. "That doesn't work that way," I deadpanned. "I am your better. You are nothing." Joffrey shouted back, "If you explain to me in one sentence why you love that thing you call a son, I might just let you live," I sighed, looking at Cersei, who simply didn't respond. "See, I don't get it either." "You won, but you won't get to enjoy any of it," Cersei smirked, lighting a match. Taking a deep breath, I threw my blade at Cersei like a spear, and it stuck into her hand, pushing her several meters back to a wall where the sword was now lodged. The Mad Queen screamed out in pain as her priced son peed himself. "For your information, I'm fireproof. So, yeah." "I won't," Joffrey muttered in fear, but a bitch slap was more than enough to knock the little bastard down. "Well, that was very anticlimactic," I sighed, as I walked to check if the mountain was really dead. "Do we give the signal?" One of the ravens present asked. "Yes," I nodded. "2N Lannister, POV 2 hours later." This was a new feeling. Total and absolute defeat. Like the commoners said, I backed up the wrong horse on this race. Any minute now, someone would get me. I didn't even care anymore. There wasn't anything I could possibly save from my family. Legacy. Honor. Nothing. My children fucked everything up. So, here I was drinking vodka the drink, my enemy manufactured, in the office that was given to me as the Hand of the King, waiting for the enemy army to get me. They had entered the city almost 2 hours ago, and if my calculations were right, for the first time since this fucking war started, they would be with me in me moments. "Lord Lannister," Ned Stark said, kicking the doors open. "Lord Stark," I acknowledged. "Would you care for a drink?" Ned Stark stared at me for a second, confused. "The city, the kingdom belongs to Ronard now. Of that painful fact, there is no doubt." I nodded. "Is my son alive?" "He is. Ronard wanted to kill him and send you his head, but other plans came up," Ned Stark answered. "I see, it would have been a very clever move," I sighed. "My son is probably my one emotional weakness." "Larry, that's what Ronard said," Lord Stark nodded. "Where is Oberyn?" I inquired, from how much he hates me. I expected him to be the one to capture me. "He does, but he has other orders right now," Lord Stark sighed. "Very well," I nodded, putting the vodka bottle and my cup down. "A very distinctive drink. Like everything our king does, Lord Stark approached me. Yes, that sounds about right, I nodded, dropping my sword. Lead the way, Lord Stark. I'm sure many want to see me hang. Let's not keep them waiting. Cersei screamed and trashed as I carried her. The comatose mountain and the disgusting thing she called sun on my back. Would you please stop? It's just a minor cut in your hand, I sighed. But no matter what I told the soon-to-be death bitch, she was having none of it. Maybe the pain of her wound was too much, or maybe she was having a meltdown. I mean, she did lose everything she ever held dear today. Should we call Neltharion? A raven inquired. I pondered over that offer for a second. The walk to the castle was a very long way, and I had 3 people on my back, one of them making the walk less than enjoyable. All right, I sighed, giving the raven the confirmation he needed to call my dragon son. You won't get away with this, Cersei hissed with anger. I think I already did, though. Be my guest. Try and stop me. I laughed, much to her annoyance. I still couldn't believe it. This war was finally over. I was now officially the king of the 7 kingdoms, not that I didn't have that title before, but now I had it without opposition. Then again, Vale had yet to kneel, but they were as threatening as Cocker Spaniel. Essos and Westeros were mine. I still had to conquer some cities in Essos, but with Braavos under my control, that would hardly become a nuisance. Now, I have to focus on the wall. Well, at least my attention won't be diverted, I smiled. This victory had a sour taste, because I still had yet to win. Wake up and kill him, Cersei shouted, kicking the mountain. I planted his head on the ground. I ain't no doctor, but he won't wake up anytime soon. I winked at her, enraging the already furious woman. Father Will, that was new. Cersei was lost for words. You lost, and it doesn't matter if you deny that fact, I sighed. Have some dignity, and wait for your sentence. Cersei remained silent for a second, holding her wounded hand. Will I be judged as a noble? I knew what she wanted. A trial by combat, and by God that sounded fun. You want a trial by combat, don't you? It's my right, Cersei said with a cold tone. One that carried hope. I smiled. You can have one, but who among your allies can beat me? The king can't participate, for he is the judge, Cersei replied. I didn't know to what extent was that true, but even if it was, she had to know. I had other warriors no one could beat. I could choose a bear, Neltharion, even a lion if I want to make things ironic. Then I'll choose my dragon son. Pick your poison. You are dying either way. Ned Stark POV. The city was in a deplorable state, but we had won. Ronard was finally the one and only king in Westeros. A thought that never would have occurred to me years ago. The same kid I lend money to help him with his house. That kid was now that man I was proud to call my king. Have you heard anything about Reynard? Oberyn inquired. Nothing yet. I shook my head, but you know him. He's probably taking the scenic route here. That is absolutely true, Oberyn laughed. He probably killed the mountain. I haven't seen that bastard. In your condition, it's better to leave that to Ronard, I commented. After all, his injuries from the last fight he had with Jaime would put him in a bad situation against that monster Tywin has, or had, I suppose. Oberyn sighed. Neltharion is coming with the king, a soldier shouted, entering the throne room. Well, it seems our king decided to bless us with its presence, Oberyn commented with a smirk. Aye, I nodded. Reynard Mormont POV. It took some time to tie the bitch of Cersei up. After she had realized, even without me on the trial, she had requested she would still have 0 chance of winning. Well, let's say her normal crazy is nice compared to the shit beneath that. To summarize my suffering, the bitch bit me as I tied her ass up to Neltharion, and if it wasn't because I wanted her to die in public for everyone to see, she would dead already. My king? Oberyn greeted me with a smile that disappeared. As soon as he saw the comatose Gregor Clegane behind. Is he dead? I jumped out of Neltharion's back, landing in front of Oberyn. Kind of. I think he is in a coma, but I don't know. In reality, the mountain could also be brain death. Is the first time I plant someone on the ground. I have no idea what to expect. Oh well, Oberyn shrugged. And to be honest, that was not the reaction I was expecting. Huh? Well, cool. Your Grace, Ned Stark said, extending his arms to give me a hug. Was this a thing now? Sure, why not? I shrugged, giving the man a short hug. The throne is waiting for you, Lord Stark smiled. Yeah, the most uncomfortable chair known to man is waiting for me. I chuckled. You could always put a cushion. Essos is famous for having the best cushions in the known world, Oberyn laughed. Maybe I was actually thinking something more along the lines of burning that thing off. I shrugged. Thud. What do we do with the other passengers? A soldier asked, pointing to Cersei, Gregor, and Joffrey, who Neltharion had thrown off his back. I feel dirty for letting them mount me. Neltharion shuddered. I will go and take a bath. See you later, father. Well, if the mountain wasn't dead already, that surely did the job, I commented. The Iron Throne, the seat of the Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, a piece of metal that is often used as a device to refer to the king's authority. And the image I had of it in my head was different. I was not prepared for the atrocity I was now witnessing. What in the actual fuck is that? I asked. The throne, Ned Stark answered, with a confused expression. Okay, if I wasn't sure of burning this thing before, I am now, I commented, as I slowly walked up to the throne. The Iron Throne was not at all like the HBO version of it. No, the real throne was an asymmetric monstrosity of spikes and jagged edges and twisted metal. And here I was, about to sit in the biggest healthy hazard this world can offer. Here I go, I muttered, taking my rightful place on throne. And I felt powerful. I felt finally at peace because the game was over. I felt pain. Wait, pain. I think I stabbed my arm with one of the blades. Kazuya, yes, you are bleeding a bit, but nothing bad, a raven commented, landing on the throne. I stabbed my feet. Well, who said power didn't come with pain? All hail King Ronard. Ned started a chant that started small, but soon enough was shaking King's Landing itself. Staring out the window, with a feeling of inner peace I couldn't quite describe, with one single thought clouding my mind. I was the king now. I had finally won the game with all its ups and downs. I had won. But I knew this was just a moment, the calm before the storm. I suppose that applies to me right now, I chuckled, knowing very well I had one more battle to win. But for now, that could wait. Right now, I was dying to see my family, to kiss my wife, to hold my kids. But I was scared, and while I didn't let anyone but Neltharion know, thoughts of what if they didn't remember me? What if they didn't want to be with their old man? That would hurt me, more than any sword. My king, Oberyn said as he entered the room, bringing me back to the real world. Oberyn, I greeted with a smile. You must be excited to see your wife. God knows you need some love, Oberyn winked. Remind me again, why are we friends? I inquired with a chuckle. I don't know, but that's a curse you can't cast away. Oberyn laughed. One that is not so bad, John chuckled, entering the room. Maybe I need to start locking my room. Oh, well, they do say a woman is more terrifying than any battle, Oberyn commented. But that's what makes their company even better. Not of Daenerys, I mean, my kids. I can't help but wonder. I forget it, I chuckled. If I may, Ned Stark said, entering the room. And yeah, I need to lock my room. Sure, I nodded. Thanks, I smiled. That actually made me feel a bit better. When your queen arrives, she wants to see them hang for what they did to her family. I answered, rolling my eyes at his antics. Well, I guess I can wait, Oberyn pouted. I forgot to mention, but the spider is nowhere to be found, John commented. Well, there isn't much he can do. He isn't a priority for me at all, I sighed. And while it was true the spider was my enemy, he was hardly a threat anymore. Well, he never was, but I do wonder. How did he manage to escape, and more importantly, how did he do so without alerting my ravens? There is the spider's POV. What a waste. In the end, my efforts to stop the monster I created were useless. Ronard won. Once again, I was at the beginning of the chain. But I would rise, and the next time I faced that monster, I would be ready. Caw. A crow. Weird. They aren't common around these parts, I muttered, wondering if it was someone's pet. After all, crows were very uncommon where I was. Well, I suppose I'm also uncommon here. Caw. Caw. Another one. 2, 3, 4, 15. No more than that, and they are all staring at me. I better get going. Life is a finite resource. From the moment you are born, you start wasting that valuable gift. Some more than others, but you little spider, you fucked up. Royally. A crow was talking. As murder of hundreds of crows flew around that single crow that had my attention, the talking one. We are cousins to the ravens, friends of the Cornbringer, protectors of his subjects, and executioners of his enemies, and you, little spider, are his enemy. The murder of crows circled me, flying around me wildly. So this is how he was always on top of everything, I laughed. There wasn't much I could do besides that. Peter Baelish, POV. I jumped from being Tywin's prisoner to being Rannard's prisoner. Well, at the very least the brat ought to be easier to manipulate. Lord Stark, what a pleasant surprise, I greeted. It must be for some, but not for you, after all. I do seem to remember you holding my neck with a dagger, Ned growled. I played the game to the best of my skills, I sighed. You won't escape punishment, Littlefinger. Rannard is too smart for your games, but do try. I would love to see you fail. And with that, Lord Stark left. He had changed quite a bit. Well, I still have Lysa. She will save me, I smiled. After all, if Rannard wanted the Vale to kneel, he would need me. Daenerys POV. Rannard won. He promised me one day I would go back to Westeros as his queen, and he had once again delivered, keeping his word, but even though that single thing had been the purpose for as long as I can remember, that wasn't the reason that made me want to swim. Go across the sea. It was him. I wanted to be by my husband's side. I wanted to kiss him, to make love to him, to hold him and never let him go. I missed him more than I wanted, that stupid throne, and I was finally reuniting with him. My family would soon be whole again. I need a new dress. He won't check that, Daisy chuckled. He will probably break the dress away, the king hasn't been with his wife for a long time, she winked at me. I know, I'm expecting that and more. If not, I'll break his armor myself, I laughed. These little moments where titles didn't quite matter made me feel at peace. Daisy and Miss and Tide were my best friends after all. A queen gets what a queen wants. Rannard's words, huh? Daisy laughed. The prince and princess will be overjoyed of seeing their father, Miss Andiag commented with a smile. They keep asking about him. They're going to love him, I smiled. Aye, Daisy nodded. Crow Mormont Ravenicus POV. To the pun cave. I hate you, Rosier shouted. When one later POV. The aftermath of the war was as expected, a logical nightmare. The people of King's Landing were starving, and the damage I had inflicted on the city was substantial. It would take me an enormous amount of money to fix just that, and I still had thousands of other problems, like the sewage situation that made living in this city the biggest challenge of my life. I really need to find a way of dealing with the smell, I muttered. As of now, it was taking an enormous amount of will to not puke. Well, you can, but it will cost you quite a bit of gold, Oberyn chuckled. I own Bravios. I don't think that's a problem. Time was the problem. No solution would be immediate. It would probably take years for anyone to do whatever it is they have to do to fix this shit. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oberyn rolled his eyes at me. I could always force you to fix it, I smirked. All right, I'm sorry, Oberyn chuckled. Excited for the execution? I inquired. More than you could possibly imagine, Oberyn nodded. Daenerys should be arriving any day now, I stated. She was the reason the Lannisters were still alive. She, like the Martells, had some internal demons to kill, and the execution would give them that. Well, I'll go bother Tywin. Seeing him in a cage really puts a smile on my face. Oberyn smiled. Don't kill him, I warned. I know. I'll be nice. Oberyn chuckled, walking away. That man was both annoying and friendly, and the worst part was that the bastard was probably my best friend. Well, I guess it is time to see how the Littlefinger is doing. I have been ignoring meeting with him since Ned informed me he was in one of my cells in the dungeon. As I walked to the dungeon beneath the castle, the screams of anger that Joffrey was emitting filled the air, demanding someone to let him go. Because he was the king, blah blah blah. Annoying little piece of shit. Maybe I can bitch slap him again, that is always a good choice. Let me go! I demand to be set free. You really make it easy to hate you, I sighed, walking by his cell, and apparently my presence was more than enough to shut him up. Fear overwhelming his madness. Joffrey struggled to form a coherent sentence now that I was here. It seems you do have a brain. Intriguing, I chuckled, passing through his cell. I continued on walking, until I eventually reached Peter's cell. He was sitting on a corner, with a sour expression on his face. Was it fear, anger, or something entirely different? I was both curious and indifferent, but then again, I was here. Wasting time, perhaps, but seeing what this little bastard wanted. Hello there, I greeted him. Immediately at the sound of my voice, Petyr turned around and bowed. You must be Rannard. A pleasure to you. Sorry I can't offer you anything, but as your grace can see, I'm lacking stuff. Well, you are in prison, I said. I do see that, but it's a crime to have me here, you see. I haven't done anything against you. I know Lord Stark and I have our problems, but I assure you, I would never do anything against you, Petter said. Rather lied. Little did he know I knew about his dealings to kill me. Oh, so it must have been another Petter that told old man Frey to kill me. Would you be so kind to point me to that Petter, so that I can burn him alive? I smiled. I was working with the Lannisters. It wasn't my idea, Petter lied in his defense. No, it was all you. Don't think you can lie to me. I bested betters on this little game, so stop it, I said, with dangerously low tone, letting him know nothing he said would change my mind. Would you need me to get the people of Vale on your side? Petter said with small smile of triumph. Without Vale, you only have 6 out of the 7 kingdoms. I looked at him for a second, before I bursted in a fit of laugh. Yeah, you think that, huh? Oh, dear. Yeah, you think that I need you to get Vale on the line, huh? If you kill me, Lyserden won't bend the knee, Petter added. Not that I need her. She killed her husband. All because you told her, I chuckled. And if Vadel doesn't believe that, well, I can always burn that mountain down and start a new house. Don't cloud your thoughts with sentiments of greatness. Littlefinger, Val and you are nothing to me. Your mere presence, the sound of you breathing offends me, and whether you like it or not, you will die, so enjoy the rest of your life. As limited as it is. Fear, despair, and understanding of his situation shocked Paterbear Baelish all at once, destroying any hopes the man had for survival. He knew nothing would save him now. He had overplayed his hand, not realizing the game had ended a long time ago, with Ronard as its winner. Olenna Tyrell POV. Ronard Mormont, the first of his name. Too bad I didn't see his potential. A long time ago, Marguerite would be queen if I did, but oh well. I suppose I can settle for surviving all this ordeal. Not many people can live through 2 wars and tell the tale, and I can always marry Margaery to the new Lord of House Targaryen. She did seem to think the Northern Dragon Wolf boy to be attractive. Mother, my son, poor idiot, waking up, not knowing what happened. A shame he got the brains of his dad. It's all right, I fixed our situation. Now sleep, I soothed the poor idiot. Watching Daenerys walking down the stairs of that damned ship was painfully slow. All the decorum I had built up for this moment fade away, when I just couldn't hold back anymore and rushed to her like there was no tomorrow. And it seemed my sweet wife was in the same situation, for she was running towards me with open arms. I missed you so much, Daenerys said, burying her face full on tears on my chest. I think I missed you more, I chuckled. I don't think so, Daenerys chuckled on my chest. Dad, can you please tell Rosiel to stop using so many puns? Crow hissed, landing in front of me. Do be such a drag. Rosiel smiled, replacing the word brat for drag. Weak pun, if you ask me. I hate you, Crow muttered. There are 2 other little dragons, or should I say chimeras, waiting to meet you, Daenerys said, kissing me on the lips for the first time in so long. If it wasn't because I had so much control over me, I would have probably, well, Geralt and Alyssa both were already walking, and I had missed that transition. That was more hurtful than anything. It almost made me cry knowing I had missed so much of their life in so little time. Hi, Geralt, my sweet son said, walking towards me. A pleasure to meet you again, father. He then looked at Missandei, wondering if he had said the words they had practiced with him. We already know each other, I smiled, hiding the pain I felt. My own son thought of me as a stranger. Can I hug you? Geralt asked, in the most shy and adorable way, erasing about 80% of the pain I had. Of course, any day, any time, I hugged him. Hi, Alyssa, Daddy's little princess said, tugging my pants. It's good to see you again, father, she smiled, hugging my right leg. Unlike Geralt, that looked at me like I was both a stranger and his family, Alyssa looked at me like a daughter would to a father. You remember, I smiled in astonishment. I do, Alyssa nodded, still hugging my leg. I remember everything, even the day you first held me. Photographic memory, the ability to recall any event like it just happened. It seemed my daughter had someone similar to that. She was barely 3 years old. I wonder, did my super soldier body and other gifts affect them? She remembers everything. I mean everything. It must be a pain to remember all the puns Rygel uses, Crow muttered. Well, I tried to answer, but someone else was already on it. I find some of them funny, Alyssa chuckled, answering QO, much to my shock. Well, I suppose there goes my answer. They did inherit some of my power. Perhaps they will kick their old man ass someday. That's a sight I would enjoy watching. What are puns? Geralt asked, and once again my kids shocked their old man. Not only Alyssa, but Geralt had inherited my ability to communicate with animals. I wonder if my ability to master weapons is within them. Jokes? Thought the books are never clear, Alyssa commented. You should read more. I don't like books, Geralt huffed, sticking his tongue out at his sister. Wow, I chuckled. Yes, they are quite the surprise, don't you think? Daenerys chuckled beside me. They got quite a bit from you, Alyssa has my eyes, and I think her hair will have golden white stripes. But the rest is all you was I sleeping during the act. We both know you weren't, and I think Alyssa will look like you, and Geralt like me. I just feel it. I smirked. Maybe, Daenerys smiled. What's your favorite color, Geralt inquired with a wide smile. Black, I answered. Your favorite bird? Geralt asked, as soon as I answered his previous question. The ravens, I chuckled. Caw, heck yeah. Caw, we won, boys. The robins, Geralt answered with a smile. I brood you, ingrate chick. I caw, I need some time to process the fact we lost to a robin. While I was trying to find a way on how to defuse the situation, Alyssa commented, You probably hurt 5,000 of our uncles with that comment. Why? They are family, not birds, right? Geralt tilted his head in confusion. For him, the ravens weren't animals, but family. Caw, I'm so touched. I see, Alyssa nodded in understanding. And the previously offended ravens were now crying in happiness. Well, all well ends well. Let's go home. Neltharion Mormont, Ravnicus POV. I was finally reunited with my brothers. It was time to brag all I was able to do, but they didn't. Ha ha, best dragon wins, baby. Hey, Nelth, Rhaegal waved at me. Rogier, how you've been? I asked. Same as always. Annoying the ever-living crap out of Huad, the Rhaegal laughed. One day I will have my sweet retribution, Crow muttered. What about you? Rhaegal inquired. Opening for bragging acquired, time to brag. Oh well, I've been fighting alongside father and winning every battle, being his strongest soldier, but I suppose babysitting is also important. So don't worry, brothers. I see you're showing your claws, but let me tell the scales are in our favor, Rhaegal laughed. Give me a week. I will best whatever you did, Nalth, Qo commented. It wasn't working, time to drop the big guns. I also taught father how to breath fire. It was pretty easy with my skills. You what? Bingo! Who's the best dragon now? Huh? Lysaerin POV. The Lannisters had lost, and Ronard had my sweet, sweet Petyr on a cell like a dog. Petyr didn't deserve to be on a cage. He was perfect. He was mine. He loves me. His place was with me, by my side on my bed, making me scream his name, not on a cage. But how could I save him? I didn't want my sweet Robin to lose his father, his real father. I had to save him, but how? If only I could lure that stupid bear to Vale. His head would be mine, and I would be able to save Petyr. Yeah, that's right. In Vale, I was unstoppable. Nothing could possibly go wrong. All I needed was to force that bear into my territory, and I would crush him. Yeah, that was right. Nothing would possibly end bad. In a month, I would be sleeping with my Petyr, riding him non-stop. For now, I had to wait. I can do that. I can wait, I reassured myself on the mirror. All for you, Petyr. Caw, that woman needs some meds. Tywin Lannister, POV. Let me out! Even during my last few days of being among the living, the disgrace of a grandson I had was making what little I had a living hell. I suppose that's what happens when two idiots that happen to be siblings fuck. You lost. How could you lose? Cersei barked from the cell in front of me. I suppose the answer lies in whatever made you fuck your brother. After all, I'm your father. Some of that stupidity has to be mine. I sighed. Dad, Jaime tried to defend himself, but I cut him off with a low chuckle. There's nothing to save, so stop hiding behind your pathetic lies. I glared at him. So pathetic you believed them, Cersei smiled triumphantly. I never believed them. I was simply in denial. To accept my 3 children were nothing but idiots. It was hard to admit. The worst part is, Tyrion is the best of you two. Little freak too weak to control his carnal desires. But in the end, he shamed the family less than you two. I laughed, realizing the irony of the situation. That little monster killed Mother, Cersei hissed. Yes, and I hate him for it, but he did her a favor. I'd rather have your mother underground as a corpse than to have her suffering for what you two made of our family. I sighed. Drop that high horse shit, Jaime spat. We fucked up, sure, but that's just the result of what you taught us, father. I mean, after all, by what right does a sheep judge as a lion? I never claimed to be perfect. If I was, you two wouldn't be such a pair of mistakes. I laughed. The sad part was, I knew deep down Renord was a threat, and I wanted to marry him to your daughter, and what did you do, Cersei? Made my life and plans impossible because he was a mere commoner for your standards. Well, that fucking commoner is the king now, and our heads belong to him. That beast doesn't deserve to lay his hands on Marcella, Cersei spat. That beast will send us to hell, I laughed. At least we won't be with your mother. That's the only highlight of our situation. None of us will reunite with her. Today was the day of the execution, and the people of King's Landing had gathered to witness the show. Many of them wanted to see the Lannisters hang. Others just wanted to see people dying. Either way, thousands of citizens gathered to see the show. Oberyn had in the end decided to let Tywin die like the rest of his family, closing the chapter of his revenge once and for all. For him, it was more than enough to see them dying, with their name being eradicated. But that destiny didn't extend to the mountain, for Oberyn was eagerly waiting for the beast to wake up to have some fun together. As for Daenerys, she was not happy with the situation of her city, like I was. The smell was awful, and that was just the tip of the iceberg of shit we had to deal with in the future. But that was for another day. Today we had quite the itinerary. Cersei and Jaime had requested trial by combat, with Jaime being his own champion and that of his sister. Little did they know I was going to fight on the trial. Normally the judge can't fight, which means I won't be judging, but my wife will. And of course, I will be her champion and win-win situation if you ask me. You don't have to fight, Ned commented. Don't assume to tell your king what he can or can't do. Daenerys was not exactly on friendly terms with Lord Stark, but she would get there eventually, I suppose. Don't worry, I kissed Daenerys on the lips, sweeping her confronting mode like it never was there to begin with. I'm sure that Lord Stark worded that poorly, but without bad intentions. I winked at Lord Stark. Ned sighed. I mean, you've been fighting so much, let someone else fight for you. It's only fair. Daenerys looked at Ned for a second, and then at me. I think he onto something. Why dirty your blade with Lannister blood? Let others prove their loyalty. Let others taint their blades with that scum. I chuckled. I understand, but I don't like chances. If anyone but me fights, well, there is a chance they will survive all this ordeal, and that's something I can't allow. But Ned Stark was about to refute, but I cut him off. I know you are loyal, and I know you would fight for me, but can you with certainty tell me that you can win this? I inquired. No, I can't, Ned Stark admitted. Exactly, I nodded. I suppose, Daenerys sighed. Besides, this will barely be an inconvenience, I smirked with confidence, and with the people watching, well, it will let them know their king is no pushover. Showing them your might so that they feel protected, but also fearful of betraying you. Daenerys smiled, getting part of my idea. Well, hello there, Oberyn entered the room, taking a small bow. A lion is waiting to be personally executed by you, and we can't have them waiting, can we? I suppose every second we delay this is an extra second we're giving them. I laughed. Indeed, Oberyn chuckled. Then let's hear these lions roar. Daenerys smiled, walking out of the room, not before giving me my good luck kiss. The arena where I was going to fight Jaime was the same one used on the tourney on the hand, quite big, and allowed more than enough people to come, and it would serve as the grave for the Lannisters. I know there is a blonde joke I can use right now, but it's beneath me, I joked. Letting your wife be the judge, I see who has the pants on, the relationship. Jaime taunted with his trademark smirk. Projecting much? At least my relationship is symbiotic, yours. I don't think there is a word for it. I chuckled, raising my blade. We did? Jaime inquired. They have requested one trial for all of them. A trial by the seven, Daenerys said, holding her anger. A trial by the seven, very rarely, after the accused, aka the Lannisters, have demanded a trial by combat. They may also demand a trial by seven, that instead of one man versus one man, it's 2 teams of 7 men each that will fight. As with a normal trial by combat, the accused and accuser each have to pick 6 other champions, though each also has the option to not fight in person but to name a 7th man as their personal champion. A trial by 7 ends only when all 7 men on one side have been defeated either by yielding or dying. They can do that? I inquired. Aye, Ned nodded. But we were on the middle of a trial. That's stupid. I was about to kill Jaime. And then this... Apparently they changed their mind because the mountain woke up, Oberyn hissed in anger. They can change their trial at any time if the trial by combat or by the 7 hasn't started, Ned stated. Boy, the rules of this time make no sense. Alright, but do they even have 7 champions? Yes, Daenerys nodded. Jaime Lannister, Tywin Lannister, Gregor Clegane, Meryn Trant, Joffrey Baratheon, Boros Blount, and Aerys Oakheart. Wait, hold on a minute. Joffrey will fight, I asked, trying to make sure I heard what I heard. Yes, Daenerys nodded. Confirming. Ha 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 ha, I laughed. The idea of that idiot holding a weapon was stupid. I don't think... Ned started, but Daenerys cut him off. If you think you can do it, I believe in you, Daenerys smiled, kissing me. I forgot to mention Cersei wanted to see you, Ned added, and I already knew what she was going to say. I walked to Cersei's cell, chuckling like a madman along the way. Even in a dungeon, you are a pain in the ass. So what did you want to talk about? I inquired, knowing full well this dumb bitch was about to try and weaponize my pride. I'm sure by now you know I changed my family's trial from a trial by combat to a trial by the 7, right? Cersei smirked. I do. Proceed, I nodded. Well, I have a challenge for you. You claim to be the best warrior in the known world. How about you prove it? Cersei smiled, and there it was. Her last planned resort. What do you have in mind? Oh, dear crazy bitch, I chuckled. Fight my champions alone. Prove that what you say, it's true. This woman was so predictable, it hurt. You do realize your son is among those 7 champions, right? I smirked at her. Yes, I do, Cersei shifted uncomfortably. But I know that you would leave him for last. After all, he is no warrior. What would you accomplish by killing him and dying by the rest? All right, I'll take the bait, I laughed. I will fight alone and leave your mistake for last. It was my plan either way. Cersei smiled. Good. Not so fast. I will leave your pretty mistake for last. But that only means I will make him scream your name as he suffers. So have that in mind. You chose to have your son experience a slow and painful death instead of losing his head. Everything from now, it's your fault, I smiled, leaving a slightly disturbed Cersei on her cell, probably pondering if her choice was the right one. A trial by the 7, a fitting way to end their entire game, if you ask me. And here I was, about to crash all the hope the Lannisters had left for survival. Here I stand with my 7 champions. I entered the arena with a smirk, alongside my 7 disposable champions who surrendered as soon as they entered. As for me, I was looking at the 7 I had to kill, Joffrey in particular. For some reason, the little shit was smiling. I will finally show these idiots how a real king fights, Joffrey boasted. Let's not be hasty, Yane Sane sighed. This time, I will crush you, Gregor growled at me. Wow, that hit you took a month ago, left you with some severe brain damage, I smirked, infuriating the man even more. Is everyone ready? Ned Stark inquired from outside the arena. Yes, I nodded, looking at Cersei, who almost had pleading eyes, begging me to keep my word of fighting alone. Desperation in her eyes mixed with pride. It was an odd combination. Fortunately for her, I was a man of my word. They would all die by my blade and my blade only, especially Joffrey. Ned's voice boomed out into the audience a final time. Let the trial begin. Ned had barely finished his sentence when Meryn Trant instantly charged at me. Sword ready, I just smiled at my first victim, leaping forward while vertically spinning in the air while releasing a flowing attack in a circular motion, cutting his head in a single clean cut. 1, I smiled at the remaining 6. How about we don't rush, Jaime sighed. Either way, you will die, so it's your choice, one by one or all at once. I winked at them. Jaime growls in anger as he dashed towards me, unleashing a very fast attack from below the waist with his blade, prompting me to flip backwards so as to avoid the sword, landing on my feet. I smiled. You didn't use that flashy move against Oberyn, right? I knew he didn't. Otherwise, Oberyn would be dead. That attack was pretty lethal. Perhaps he just decided to try it. I just decided to try that. Jaime answered as he proceeded to walk up to me while the others, including the mountain, circled me, and I couldn't help but wonder with excitement where this was going. So, what's the plan? Bore me to death? 'Cause I'll be honest, is working. I smiled, making Jaime tighten the grip on his blade. You'll see, I smiled. Taking a step to the side, I dodged an attack coming from behind from one of the ex-king's guards, immediately cutting the throat of the poor idiot as a counterattack. With a simple forward slash, 2 down, 5 more, I commented as Iris fell to the ground, choking on his own blood. Yaxley, a bit surprised that I countered an attack that, by all means, should have been on my blind spot, frowned, as he rushed with his blade, trying to cleave my heart. But I deflected the attack while dodging another blind spot attack with a single kick and sidestep, causing Yame to stumble back. So is your strategy trying to exploit my blind spots? If so, it won't work. I smirked at him. Jaime growled as he dashed forward, unleashing a flurry of attacks with his blade, being assisted by his father in the mountain, all three attacking at the same time. With a smile, I dropped my blade to give the audience a show, and proceeded to redirect all the blows. Jaime was trying to give me by tapping the blunt parts of the blade. All this while, I simply dodged the attacks from Tywin and Gregor, moving my body swiftly around the area in order to avoid them in a very laid-back but extremely effective style. This is fun, I chuckled, much to their annoyance. This is ridiculous, Tywin commented. And we are barely starting, so don't put your socks back on, 'cause I'm about to knock them off. I smirked. Damn it! Gregor growled. Is the big dog mad? You can always play with me, one-on-one, if you think you can win. I smiled as I invited the mountain to duel me one-on-one. But while big and stupid, he learned our last encounter. I was vastly superior to him, reason why he wasn't mindlessly charging at me. No matter how strong you are bound to have a weakness, Jaime stated. I do, unfortunately. My weakness is my greatest strength, that and they aren't fighting. I smiled, as I kicked my blade that was on the floor with all my strength toward Jaime, who dodged just in time. No weapon, and you missed, sad, Jaime smirked. I didn't miss. I smirked at him, making the clueless man turn around, seeing one of his teammates nailed to the arena wall with my blade on its chest. Boris Blount, right? You still have no weapon, Jaime said, as if that gave them any advantage. 3 down, 4 to go, I chuckled. Jaime rushed at me, trying to capitalize the fact that I had no weapon, but like before, I just redirected his blows with light taps on the blunt part of his blade while dodging the attacks from others with a very laid-back and playful attitude. After a few seconds of it, I grew bored of only defending and decided to spice things up, delivering a spinning hook kick on Yami, a quick jab at Tywin and a spinning kick on the mountain, knocking every single one of them to the ground. This can't be happening, Gregor growled in anger while still on the ground, to which I responded with a smile. Oh, but it is, I taunted with a fake yawn. Fuck you, Gregor growled in rage, rushing at me, forgetting how hopelessly outmatched he was. Gregor, no! Tywin and Jaime shouted to no avail, trying to rush and aid their mad ally. However, before they can even stand up, I rushed at the mad dog, using my hand as a temporary lance piercing the mountain's mouth from point A to point B, plunging my hand into his neck, proceeding to rip his head off with the spine still attached to it. Fatality? Ronard wins. Flawless victory, I commented, throwing the head towards Jaime. Holy shit! Oberyn shouted from the audience. Great, I avoided being hanged for this. Best plan ever, Tywin lamented. 4 down, 3 to go, I chuckled. Kill him, Joffrey demanded, fear on his eyes. All the confidence he had a few minutes ago, gone. Yarnfoot growled in desperation, rushing at me once more with his father, his eyes failing to show the confidence he had a few moments ago, knowing full well there wasn't any chance he would win. Now that I showed all of you the meaning of despair, it's time to end this, I smiled, ducking under his attack and going behind his father. I then grabbed Tywin's neck and broke it, having turned his head upside down. Huh? Tywin muttered as he fell to the ground to dead. 5 down, 2 to go, I smiled, turning to see Cersei, crying in anger and fear. 1-on-1. Well, Jaime started, but I cut him off by dashing towards him with great speed, giving him no time to react, kicking the idiot a few meters into the air. As Jaime plummets back down, leaving a trail of blood, I put myself into position, punching him in the face, bashing his skull into a bloody mess, hole sending his now limp, dead body crashing into the wall. 6. Now on to the 7, I smiled, turning to see the former king peeing himself in fear. If your strategy is to pee and shit yourself so that I don't touch you, let me tell you, it's working, I added in disgust. Mom, Mother, please, Joffrey screamed in terror, trying to escape the arena. Mother, please save me. Didn't I tell you, seriously, that this would happen? I smiled as I slowly walked up to Joffrey. Let me go, Cersei screamed when the guards stopped her from aiding her son. Now, open your eyes wide and enjoy the scene. It's one of a kind, I told Cersei before turning to give my undivided attention to Joffrey. Mother, please, Joffrey cried, shaking in pure fear as I loomed above him. Be a man for once, I growled, breaking his leg with a quick low kick. Joffrey screamed, clutching in pain. The human body has 206 bones. That's just one. Let's break the other 205. I smiled, walking towards Joffrey, who was too busy clutching in pain to fully comprehend his situation. It took me 2 hours to kill Joffrey, like I had promised Cersei. He suffered every second of it. The worst part was that the idiot could have surrendered if only he knew the rules gave him that privilege. His death would have been a lot less painful than the one I gave him. Needless to say, it felt good to see how Cersei and her entire persona shattered, leaving an empty shell of what she once was. She was now broken, a body without purpose, just waiting to go. Remind me to never get on your bad side, Oberyn said as he entered the changing rooms. Sure, I nodded. That was terrifying, Jon added. It was what they deserved, Daenerys stated, giving me a kiss. This is nice, I smiled, while caressing my wife's hair. Moments like this were the things that I longed for so much. It was intoxicating. It is, Daenerys smiled, caressing my bare chest with a single finger. Well, now that we have the world, all we have to do is enjoy it. Well, I had first to take care of the others, but for now, I think I deserved a bit of rest. I earned this. Sounds wonderful, Daenerys whispered to my ear as she got on top of me. We still have Vale to deal with, but that can wait. Oh yeah, Veal, I had forgotten about them. They were kind of forgettable. I can put them down in an hour. 3 dragons are more than enough to force them down. I never doubted that, Daenerys smiled, giving me a passionate kiss that lasted for a few seconds. But after that, all we will have to do is rule. I smiled at her as I sighed. Well, not exactly. What do you mean? Daenerys inquired. Well, there's a problem beyond the wall. That is basically our last problem. I chuckled dryly. The others, Daenerys sighed. Yep. I nodded, surprised she connected the dots so fast. I didn't even mention them before, I think. Do you think we can win? Daenerys asked. Well, I have to, I answered with uncertainty. You are not sure, Daenerys stated in shock. I have never seen you unsure of anything. Was I so easy to read for her? I'm not sure an ever-growing army that doesn't get tired and doesn't feel fear is terrifying, I admitted. Every army has a weakness, Daenerys commented. If he dies, they all die, Daenerys added. But I'm pretty sure the undead king will have his army by his side at all times, meaning a duel with him is beyond my possibilities, I sighed. On a duel, I was sure my skills would overcome any wall, but the reality was not always on my side. Then we have to find a way to give you that opportunity, Daenerys said, with determination. You won't go near those things, not in a million years, I stated, leaving no room for discussion. There was no way in hell I would allow her and the babies be near this coming war at all. I won't let you fight alone again, Daenerys shot back in defiance. I love you, but if I have to tie you down and send you to the other side of the world to avoid you doing something magnanimously stupid, I will do it. I didn't want her to be near all of this. If those things got her, I would lose all the will to fight. I needed my lights to be alive. You have to stop putting everything on your shoulders. Is not healthy. Daenerys was angry, but not at me, at my actions. I have to, I snapped. I have to do it, because if I don't do it, no one will. Everyone depends on me. You, the 7 kingdoms, fucking humanity depends on me. I didn't ask for any of this shit, but I have to deal with it. I can't afford to lose you. I can't afford to lose the kids. I can't afford to... By that point, I was crying. God, how pathetic I was. You are not alone, and you will never be, Daenerys soothed, caressing my hair. I'm sorry, I muttered. Don't be, I'm surprised you bottle so much up, Daenerys soothed. If me being so close to the danger affects you, then I'll help some other way. But promise me you will rely on others too. You once taught me what a queen has to be, and it seems I need to teach you what a king needs to be. A king is not a man that carries the kingdom on his back alone. A king is a man that pushes the kingdom with the help of others. A king protects and is also protected by others. Stop hurting yourself and let others carry some of that weight. Is not only your fight, is theirs too. I hated this feeling weak, feeling angry, feeling useless. All of this haunted me. I know. Anything I can do without being on the front line? Daenerys inquired with a soft smile. You can help me build and mine all the materials we need, I suggested. After all, I really needed someone mining the dragon glass and keeping an eye on the Red Witch. Then consider that job done, Daenerys smiled. Playfully, see one thing off your back. Do you feel better? If only it's not the tasks that consume me, but the everlasting guilt that I changed the monster and I have to deal with it. Rio barely managed to kill the bastard on a streak of luck right now. I knew no one but me had a chance. Silly, I chuckled. Humanity is quite the conundrum. No matter how strong you are, at one point you will feel weak, and today was my point. Well, someone has to keep you sane. And here I thought my family was supposed to have the crazy part, Daenerys joked about her father. I did not expect that. Don't be, Daenerys chuckled. Lysa Aaron PLV, Tadeya was scheduled to be executed a month from now. I couldn't allow this, no. I was not going to let that stupid bear to hurt my Tadeya. I was going to kill him if he did. Call the banners, I shouted, and a few seconds passed and nothing happened. Why aren't you calling the banners? Because it would be suicidal to do so. The commander of Vale's army growled, Ronald Mormont has more than enough power to crush us like ants if we so much as look at him the wrong way. Now imagine what he would do if we declared war. He would crush us without second thought and probably have picnic all in the same day. Are you questioning my orders? I shouted. How dare he question my orders? I didn't sleep with that decrepit old man just so this idiots don't obey me. I'm questioning your objectivity. The commander shot back. Arrest him, I spat, but no one moved. We are with him on this one. The council thinks you are no longer capable of ruling the Vale and Robert Arryn. Instead, one of the council members said, What? I gasped. You are hereby taken out of the role for sake of Vale and what we stand for. They couldn't write? And because Lord Arryn is too young to rule, the commander of Vale's army will lead the house until he is of age. The council member said, and everyone agreed, I won't allow this, I hissed. That's the point. You can't allow or disallow anything anymore. After a week of well-deserved rest, I woke up to a letter from Vale. Apparently, they had a change of heart overnight because the Lord of Vale and the other high nobles of Vale were coming to bend the knee. Though this made me wonder if I should tell them that Robert Arryn is a bastard, or just let things be quite the political conundrum. The Lords of Vale are coming in a few days, Daenerys commented. Wise decision on their part, she smiled proudly. At least they are wise enough to pick the only viable option after the Lannisters. Well, I expected stupidity from everyone, Daenerys smirked as she walked towards the bathroom, swaying her hips in an inviting manner. Will you be wise and take the right choice now, my king? No one can blame me. I'm but a man, in love with his wife. I'll be right there. Three-eyed Raven POV. During my forced occlusion, I have learned that the Night King was slowly but surely increasing his army with creatures that were long dead, looking for any corpse that may help him. Giants, children of the forest, skin changers, his army was terrifying to say the least. Because he wasn't resurrecting only the ones that he had killed, but also others that had died long before he even existed. But these feats were quite taxing on him, for it was easier to resurrect a fresh victim. But the most troublesome part of his behavior was that he knew he was mortal. He knew that even with all his power, he could still die. And with that on his head, he never moved alone. Always with group of guards that was nearly invincible, Ronard was going to have a hard time approaching him, or winning for the matter. An enemy that knows his weakness and acts on it is more dangerous than 1,000 swords. He's resurrecting my kin, he's slaving my... Leaf said, shaking with tears on her eyes. I shouldn't be able to do that. I looked at her in confusion. Didn't you give him the ability to control the arts of necromancy? I did, but still. The sole purpose he was created for was to protect our forest from the humans, and while he stopped following that command a long time ago, he had many seals stopping him from resurrecting my kind. Leaf explained, shaking, I know he has no qualms about killing my people, but he should have about using his magic on us. Perhaps whatever changed him also changed the limiters he once had. We know he is different, I sighed. I hate how the song changed. Leaf cried. I hate it. If only you hadn't created the monster to begin with. The song wouldn't even exist. Everything will be all right. Let's hope the champion is preparing himself for what is to come. Night King POV. Time was the enemy of everyone. Everything and everyone was weak against the might of time. For me, it was my greatest weapon. Little by little, I was collecting pawns for my mission, and soon I would destroy the living, completing my singular purpose for existence. The only obstacle in my way, Ronald Mormont, a man with more luck than brains, an easy prey to catch, for he would eventually come for me, and I would be more than ready to face him. But for now, I would wait, growing in power every second. For with every corpse I had under my control came knowledge, their past experiences becoming mine. Ronald is a powerful warrior, but even him can't match the experience of thousands. The power on a legion at my hands. Benjen Stark, POV. We have to warn everyone. I growled. What you saw doesn't exist, Alistair scoffed. All you want is getting out of the wall like the bastard did. That won't happen again, Stark. You are endangering the life of everyone. Just because you hate my nephew? Was he so stupid that he would put everything and everyone on the line for his own pride? The bastard has nothing to do with this. He has no power over my decision. And he will pay for what he did. Once the Lannister gets him, his head will roll for breaking his oaths. Yalliser laughed. I heard he is a lord now. Perhaps it is you who should fear. I smirked at him. Out of my sight, Alistair barked at me. With pleasure, I smiled, taking my leave. Alena Tyrell POV. Today was the day I finally got to talk with the king, who seemed to be avoiding my house at every turn, as if we were plagues or a bad disease. Lady Olenna, and there he is, the king of 7 kingdoms, accompanied by his wife, the queen. We have a talk that is long overdue. We do, I smiled, taking a seat. I almost thought you were avoiding us. Let's see your reaction, young bear. That's because I've been avoiding your house. Ronard smirked. Why? I inquired. I hadn't really expected that kind of response. Well, for one, your house has been jumping from house to house, all in the efforts of making your granddaughter a queen and only allied with us when, well, your demise was certain. Daenerys answered, well, that's a part of it, Renard chuckled, but the real reason was that I wanted to rest and process everything. They still didn't trust us. Smart. I understand. I would be wary of us, too. Frankly, half of those alliances were a waste of money and time. At least during the first one, Marguerite got to feel like a queen for a brief time. But well, we all know how good that ended. Not like that relationship had any future. The poor dear didn't like the does. So that was a problem. I sighed. Haha, Ronard laughed. I like you. It's refreshing to speak with someone that doesn't lie. At least not that much. A rare trait in the South, Daenerys nodded. I'm too old for some games, and why even try if I know I can't win? I shrugged. I know that you don't trust me, and I can deal with that. Now my son might react unfavorably to that. But let me deal with the idiot myself. I hardly think the opinion of your son or his feelings has any weight on us, Daenerys smiled. On that we can both agree. I lamented, for there wasn't a bigger curse than to have a stupid son. Well, maybe having Joffrey as part of my family. Having an idiot for a son is a curse you two will never experience. Thanks, Ronard said. Your little girl, for what little I have seen, is astounding. Nourish her mind, this world need more women thinking, and less opening their legs. I chuckled. Though, I did both. That is not an image I wanted to picture, Ronard muttered. Caw! I can't unsee it! Kill me! Kill me! Caw, no amount of corn will be able to heal this wound. I was both smart and beautiful, but beauty fades, I sighed. Count on me, I'll be sexy forever. Well, not that this little chat hasn't been wonderful, but let's talk about the terms of our alliance, shall we? Daenerys said. Pitier's execution was incredibly dull, besides him screaming and begging for mercy. It was just a boring ordeal altogether, and while I did make an enemy out of this, it was one I could afford to ignore. In the end, I had decided to not tell the Lords of Vale that their lord was a bastard. The kid had no faults, besides being stupid. And with that said, everything was finally done. I had no opposition. I was the king of this fucked up world. Now it was time to focus on my last enemy, The Night King, aka the Great Value Lich King. And I already had a few people working on that, with Daenerys supervising them. For one, I ordered Jon to oversee the mining of all the dragonglass on his newly acquired lands. And going back to that, Daenerys was quite happy the Targaryen name would not die. She even found herself liking Lord Stark for saving her nephew, but going back to the plans for war. Jon was mining all the dragonglass possible, ensuring we had more than enough for the upcoming war. Ned Stark was using some of the dragonglass to reinforce the buildings in the north and put on some traps. After all, they were the first line of defense. Melisandre was creating magically reinforced weapons that were almost as effective as Valyrian steel. With her technique, all steel could be lethal to the others. Daenerys, on the other hand, was overseeing the Dragon Forge, making weapons with the dragon fire of Crew and Rhaegal, and of course checking in all the other projects. As for me, well, I was focusing on learning how to use my fire properly. I needed to have every power in my arsenal ready to kill. That's it. Let the emotions flow through your fire, Naltharion instructed happily. On it, teacher, I chuckled, trying once again, making a bit more of fire with each punch. I'm getting there, but not fast enough, I sighed. You are improving faster than me. Don't worry, Naltharion hissed happily. Besides, you have an awesomely handsome and capable teacher, he joked. I suppose, I chuckled, continuing with my training. At least I was preparing for the Ice Sucker, though I had yet to come with a plan to fight him. One-on-one, that is. Jon Targaryen POV. I had an aunt. It was certainly a good feeling. She was so harsh with everyone, but when it came Renard, the royal kids, and me, she was so nice. It was a weird feeling. I never had someone treating me, and I mean specifically me, like that. Was this how it felt to be part of a family and not a stranger living among others? Well, whatever it was a good thing. Lord Targaryen, one of the soldiers Ronard had put on my hands, called me. Yes? I turned to him, wondering what did he want. The dragonglass mines have some minor problems. I would like to discuss before we go any deeper, the soldier stated. Anything that can threaten the lives of the workers, I asked, with concern. Depends. Is left unattended. It will eventually kill someone, right now. No, the soldier answered. I see, I sighed in relief. You have my permission to proceed however you see fit. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Lord Targaryen. The man nodded excitedly. I won't fail you. Well, this is something I will never get used to. People looking for my approval, and the whole Lord title. All of this is so different to what I was used to. But Ronard believes in me, believes that I will rule this house with honor, that I will never betray him, and that's something I plan to keep. Lord Targaryen, one of the downsides of being a lord, everyone wants to talk to you. Yes? I turned to look at the new soldier coming up. Lord Robb is here to see you, the man announced. He arrived a few minutes ago. Robb was here. Guide him in. Don't make my brother wait. They did it, Robb answered, before the man even had the chance to do so. But in their defense, I am your brother, Robb smirked. Privileges only a few can have, I smirked back. How is the lordly life treating you? Robb asked as he hugged me. It's not bad, but it's full of work. So much paperwork, I groaned. I don't know how Ronard does it. I have never seen him doing any paperwork. Well, if ever find out how he avoids the paperwork, be a good brother and let me know, Robb laughed. I will, I chuckled. Brienne, Bran, and Rickon miss you, even Sansa, though, you know her, Robb said with a smile. I miss them too. Even Sansa, I smirked. Well, it seems Ronard really left a mark on you, Robb chuckled. Hard not to, that man is impressive. A true warrior, a true father, a true friend. Renard was the right man for that throne, and after the last two kings, he would be seen as a god. Aye, he is, Robb nodded, and then with a playful smile asked, Any future Lady Targaryen on the sights? I almost choked. No. I heard Lady Margaery is quite the beauty. Robb smirked. I don't think getting a wife is the right choice right now. Besides, there was no way I would marry Lady Margaery. She was a viper waiting for an idiot to fall. Besides, all I wanted was someone to be my partner, someone to love me so that I could love her. I didn't care for her status or anything. Margaery would only use me to rise the ranks. I suppose, Robb nodded solemnly, with those things coming, it would be best if we didn't leave any widows. Yes, I nodded. Ned Stark POV. Ronard had tasked me with protecting the wall for the north was the first line of attack, should the others break the wall. With Jon sending dragonglass and the knowledge we had about these monsters, I had a somewhat decent defense should they attack. Part of the North defense was all the wildfire Runnard had acquired on King's Landing. Should they cross the wall, I would blow up the forest between the wall and the north. Reason why I had evacuated the towns near the war. For if the time came where I needed to blow up those monsters and to want any reason to hesitate. You are leaving? Catelyn asks. Yes, I nodded. Can I come? Cat inquired. No, the king was clear. You are to never leave Winterfell, I answered. Ah, that man, Cat sighed in desperation. Then I will wait for you. I know it's hard, but if you want the king to be more forgiving the next time he sees you, you need to obey his word. I kissed her. Besides, the wall is a very boring place. I know, Cat nodded. As if answering my question, a shadow moved past the window on my room to the next one, waking the hell up of me. Is everything okay? Daenerys inquired, groggily waking up as she pulled my shorts to get my attention. No, I just need to check something, I decided against telling her as I left the room, going over to where I had seen the shadow moving. The sounds of someone tapping the floor with their feet became louder and louder, as you would expect in a horror movie, but this was no movie. Alright, I don't play games, so either come out and die fast, or come out and die slowly. A man has no need to use such vulgar language, for a man comes in peace. Oh great, Mr. Dokalul is here. I thought we had a deal, I barked at him. A man is but a loyal servant to the god of many faces, the god of death. A man is here on its orders. The assassin shrugged. But a man is not here to hurt you or your family. I was sent here to help you. Well, that was unexpected. Why? I inquired with genuine curiosity. What is death, Ronard? The assassin answered with a question. I sighed in annoyance at not getting the answer right away, but I suppose I can humor him. Death is the end of the road, a way to see it, but it's also peace for those who deserve it, or suffering for monsters within ourselves. But that's not the answer. Not really. The assassin smiled. Death is life. One can't exist without the other. Life without death is meaningless. Death without life is nothing. Death is balance, Renard. And it clicked me. And what the Night King wants to do will destroy that balance, right? Yes, the assassin nodded. Destruction of all life will bring nothing but chaos. And a man can't allow that. No life means no death. No life and death mean nothing. And you just had that epiphany. I inquired, wondering why the sudden change of heart. A few months ago, the assassin answered, just know the faceless men are yours to command for the duration of this war. Death is by your side, as so is life. You mean the god of light? I chuckled. Sure, let's think he is. Life is always with you, as death is always with me, two sides of the same coin. I learned to accept death as it is a long time ago. You still have yet to accept life as it is. The assassin sighed. A man needs a room, or at least a corner to sleep in. Take any room, I'll let the guards know. And don't switch your face. I won't play hide and seek with you, I ordered, ignoring his previous comment. A man will do as you command. The assassin bowed, leaving my sight. Leaving me with questions. Was this a sign this war coming up was such a wall I had to overcome that death itself gave me a hand? One day without crazy shit, is that too much to ask? I muttered, going back to my room. Catelyn Stark POV. Ronard had won. In the end, he had obtained the crown and had put everyone under his feet. A monster ruling the Seven Kingdoms, making the bastard, noble just to spite me. Everyone believes he did because Jon is actually a Targaryen, but that is nothing but a lie. The bastard looks exactly like Ned, much to my pain. But Renard knew that would hurt me, that the fact a bastard had now more power than me would humiliate me beyond belief. Mother's supper is ready. Sansa announced, entering my room. Is everything all right? My daughter inquired after seeing my agitated state. No, it's not, Ronard, I started, but Sansa cut me off. Would you stop that as getting boring, really? First was Jon, now Renard, just live your life and stop this nonsense, Sansa groaned in annoyance. Sansa sighed, giving me a fierce look. You give yourself too much credit. Ronard barely acknowledges you, she then shrugged. Besides, Jon deserves that. After all we made him go through. Frankly, Mother, at this point is sad. Not only for you, but for us as a family to hear you ramble about how much you hate Ronard. So you are okay with that bastard having more power than you than us? I laughed bitterly. Perhaps you also want to sleep with the bastard and betray me once more. Well, this is a new low, even for you, Sansa sighed. And who knows, he is my cousin by law, that's allowed. So don't tempt fate. Mother, I might marry Jon Vess to spite you. The nerve. I'm still your mother, Sansa, and you will respect me. I learned with the monster you hate that respect is earned. So if you want respect, work for it. Sansa shot back. Dinner is ready. Come and eat, or stay here. At this point, I don't care, Sansa added, as she walked out of the room. You won't leave until I say so, I shouted. You are not the lord of the house. Bran is until Dad comes back. By all means, go tell him how bad I've been, but until then, I'll see you at the dinner table. Sansa smiled, walking off into the distance. My little obedient little princess turned against me. How can I not hate Ronard when this is the result of the time she spent with him? I just couldn't. He destroyed my family. Arya, Stark, POV. I looked at Sansa with a newfound admiration as I chuckled. You know she will never forget this, right? I do, Sansa shrugged. Well, as long as Father is by our side, she can't do anything, I smiled. Not that I care. I just find her newly acquired stupidity to be annoying, Sansa said, rolling her eyes. I smirked. You used to be like her? Huh, don't remind me, Sansa sighed. How is your training coming? Good, though. I still lose every time I fight against any of the soldiers, and I know they hold back, I complained. By my age, Ronard was undefeated, kicking arses left and right. He's a special case for most things, Sansa commented. So don't use his accomplishments as a guideline, use them more as a suggestion list. One day, you will, Sansa chuckled, patting my head. One day you will. Fire was both life and death, innovation and destruction. The means to an end, whether that end was good or bad, depended on the person. Fire was only a tool. What you could do with it, well, that was up to the person in question. For me, fire was like a way to release my pent-up anger and frustration. I didn't ask for anything of this, yet I was the one that had to deal with it, and using my fire helped me alleviate that pain. It was like taking part of that load in my back as a fuel. It was liberating. The more I learned how to use my fire, the better I felt. Of course, the feeling of relief was only temporary, for the weight on my back would always come back. But for that brief moment, I was igniting my pain away. Was it healthy? Probably not. But the medicine for my pain was one thing, and one thing only, the end of this stupid song. For me to finally feel at peace, I would have to kill the Night King and end this once and for all. But until I could do that, I would bottle up my pain and burn that shit away. But this was no way to live. I had to face my inner demons if I wanted to truly be free of my restraints. If I truly wanted to be free, otherwise, I would be a slave of the consequences. Come, I have, Yoris. In need of me, I felt you were, Yoris, wrote Akkad as he flew over my shoulder. Troubled mind you have, peace at yourself, you can't achieve. I looked at the raven with curiosity. Any ideas? Yours yet, meditate you must, for the answer lies within you, Rosier cawed in answer. Meditation. Well, not that I have anything to lose, I sighed. Perhaps it was worth giving it a chance. Meditation was hard, or perhaps I was simply bad at it, because I sat for hours trying to find the answer within myself. Was I mad all the reincarnation deal didn't go as planned? Or perhaps I was mad at the fact that good-for-nothing God is putting everyone's future in my hands. I was mad at myself because I felt inadequate without all the blessings I had been given. Who was I? Without them, where would I be? Without those things. What worth did I have? Found the answer you have, wrote Akkad. I think I did, I muttered, looking at my hands. No. The problem found you have. The answer still within you is Rosier, cawed. I found my problem. Well, I suppose that's the first step, so I must meditate again. I inquired with a low chuckle. No, for the answer you already know, within you is, Rhoda shook his little head off. I was giving everything that makes me who I am, my strength, my skills. Even you guys, I sighed, looking at Rode. I feel lost, for without the blessings of the gods. I hate so much by now, I would be nothing. Forget it, is stupid. I chuckled. It is motherfucker. Raven, with a little... Wait, Nick Fury? Who fucking cares? Who gave you what? We work with what we have, and what we don't have, we take it and make it ours. You are killing yourself with what-if scenarios. Stop that bullshit, before I give you an eye patch. What if ravens didn't have wings? Well, we would walk, motherfucker. What if sharks didn't breath underwater? They would walk, motherfucker. Everything everyone has is given by someone else. But we make it ours. So stop sulking and make everything you got yours. Nick Fury cawed, ending his speech, and I will not lie. It did strike all the chords. Make everything mine, I laughed. Nick Fury was right. I had been thinking all this time, these powers, this destiny wasn't mine, that I had changed the story with my presence, that I was more harm than good. Fuck all of that. Fuck the gods. Fuck the Resident Evil ripoffs. Beyond the wall, everything I had, I would make it truly mine. Run? We must, Rhoda stated. I see that, Nick Fury cawed, flying out of the area. Wow, I am an amazing teacher, Neltharion commented as he flew around the area. Ha 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 ha! I laughed, for it had been a while since I felt like this, free. Three-eyed Raven POV. The knight had finally done it. He had managed to resurrect one of the oldest dragons in existence to serve him, and he now had everything he needed to destroy the barrier keeping him from reaching the world of the living behind the wall. Is he ready? Leaf inquired. He doesn't have much time left. Is he ready or not? He has to be, I answered, not really sure if he was ready to face this challenge quite yet. But then, deep within the roots of the sacred tree, I felt something unimaginably hot, as if the sun itself was walking on earth. A quick connection to the roots showed me what had happened a few minutes ago. Ronner was standing with his unique ravens, and then fire, lots of fire, burning everything. What happened? Leaf inquired, pulling my shirt. I think we might have a chance after all, I answered, for our champion had defeated one of his enemies already, the one hiding within himself. Daenerys POV. The long night was coming, and we had to be ready. Renard wasn't the only one that had stakes in this fight, so he didn't have to be the only one suffering. We all had. This fight was for everyone, and everyone had to do their part, whether they like it or not. How close to Valyrian steel are the last batch? I inquired the blacksmith. Similar. Could pass as one to the untrained eye, but they are pale copies compared to the real thing. The blacksmith grunted as he observed the blade. But we are getting close. This last batch is better than the last one. We just need something. Something we are missing. Well, I heard the Valyrian. I was cut off by the sight of a blazing inferno, coming from where my husband was training. No one but him and Neltharion were there. The fire was so big, I almost felt the heat from where I was. Is that... Crow hissed, looking at the fire. Yes, Kuro hissed back. They seemed to be okay, not worrying a single bit about what was happening at the training place, which probably meant Ronard was okay. He was fireproof, either way. But what type of training was he doing that lead to that fire breaking free? It was liberating to burn away my fears, or to be more accurate, to burn away my emotional baggage. With the fire engulfing me, I felt peace. Peace within myself. I was finally free of the chains I had put on my own mind. I was finally free. That was awesome, Neltharion hissed, excitedly. It was? I chuckled, seeing the ashes that were all that remained front the training camp. Good thing I trained here, only with Neltharion. Free you are, move forward you must, yours ace, Rosier commented, flying above me. I knew you had it, you motherfucker, Nick Fury cawed, happily. Now all I had to do was train my mind and body to face the last wall between me and peace, for I had to be ready to burn everything on my path to achieve that. With determination, I focused on bending the flames of the infernal fire within me, combining it with the natural flames that still lingered around the training camp, noticing that now it was surprisingly easier. After all, I had nothing stopping the flames within me from burning away. It seems I can now summon the flames with ease. I smirked as I held a fireball within my hand. Once you break that wall, the fire spreads, setting your very core in flames. Neltharion hissed. You started a fire within the forest of your soul, a fire that can't be put down. That's how our fire works. A fire within the forest of my soul, huh? Neltharion has a knack for poetry. I don't mind, it's mine anyways, I smiled. This fire was mine, I made it mine. Nate Stark, POV. I had finally arrived at the wall, concern being my motivator, with the north being the first line of defense. Things were very dire. The others could come at any second now, and we barely had a plan. Not that I blame Renard. He was fighting and planning 2 wars at the same time. If anything, I respect him even more. Because I respected him and cared for the north, I was concerned that my plans alone would prove to be useless against the others, but it's better to try and fail than to simply accept defeat. Lord Stark, to what do we owe this pleasant visit? Alistair, the current Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, said, taking a small bow. It would be an honor to give you a tour. Alistair smiled as he gestured to me with one hand to follow him. As I followed, I noticed the deplorable state the watch was. Nothing but a few warriors, and they didn't look like much. No wonder Reynard tasked me with this. As how the wall is now, there is no way they can withstand an attack. As you can see, the wall has seen better days, but I'm making sure things go back to the old days of glory. Alistair commented as she showed me around. Where is my brother? I inquired. He is cleaning the stables, Alistair answered, as he kept walking. I need to talk with him. Why was the first ranger of the Night's Watch cleaning stables? That didn't make any sense, Benjen was one of the best and most trusted members of the Watch. Something here was wrong. He is busy right now, Lord Stark. We can't have him lose focus now, can we? Alistair smiled, but there was some venom on his voice. I want to see my brother now, I ordered. How fucking dare he? I have come here, under my king's command, Roderick Mormont, first of his name, breaker of chains, father of dragons, son of the north, king of Essos, and the ruler of the known world. You will lead me to my brother, or I will break this castle down, finding him, your choice. I know no king by that name, Alistair hissed at me. The King Joffrey will not allow this, Alistair barked, as he too unsheathed his blade. Protect Lord Stark, my soldiers shouted, readying their swords. Threatening a lord, really, did you hit your head with my old desk that much? I knew that voice, Jorah Mormont, the former Lord Commander of the Watch. He might be a lord, but he doesn't hold any power here. Only the king does, and he seems to be believing your grandson is the king. Alistair smirked. A delirious thought, that's for sure. Insulting the king is a crime that is paid with life itself. I would not let anyone disrespect Renard. I owe him my life and much more. I was a knight of his round table. That alone meant something. So my grandson managed to do it. Impressive, Jared Mormont commented. Stand down, Alistair. You are making a fool out of yourself with all this charade. You no longer hold power over me, Jer, so stay out of this. Alistair barked at Jer as he started to walk towards me with his blade ready. I promised to protect the wall from its enemies, and Lord Stark is an enemy of the crown, but someone stopped him. One of the watch members behind him approached him silently, and using a long knife, he opened the throat of the commander, making the former fall on his knees, holding his throat tight with desperation, with no avail. Alistair's blood ran out onto his clothes, and a few seconds later, of slow agony, he died. A man talked too much. The watch member commented, looking at me, a man works with Renard, so a man has no need to fight you. Who are you? Jared Mormont inquired with concern. A man has no name, but a man is known as a faceless man. The man answered. Why did you kill him? I asked. Not that I wasn't going to do it myself. We have no time to waste with this type of person. Time is of essence, and we must act. The man answered. He killed our commander. One of the Night Watch soldiers growled angrily. He tried to clash blades with a lord that was sent by the king himself. He was dead a long time ago. Jared Mormont sighed. Now, you wanted to see your brother, Lord Stark. I looked at Jamer for a second before nodding. Hey, would you take me to him? Sure, though I can't walk as fast as I would like, but you can tell me about my grandson along the way, Breaker of Chains. What an interesting title he has. Jared Mormont chuckled. It would be my pleasure, I smiled. To think my grandson would clean the family name to such extent, truly the best possible thing I could ask for. Jair Mormont smiled. Now follow me, your brother is a bit far away from here. For me at least. Ned Stark POV. I followed Jair Mormont across the castle, little by little, growing worried about my brother's state. Was he okay? Did they do something to him? Why would they? Was it because of Jon? Fear not, Lord Stark. Your brother is fine. Well, he is in one piece. I made sure no one harmed him, but I couldn't stop Alistair from imprisoning him, like I couldn't stop him from being an idiot a few moments ago. Jair Mormont commented as if he was reading my mind. Why? I asked. Well, Alistair grew wary of him after your son escaped, and Benjen challenged him every step of the way. But with a good reason, Alistair was being unfair to everyone. The little power he had went to his head, he felt like a king. Truly sad, Jair Mormont sighed as he pointed. Here we are. I looked inside the cell, seeing my brother sleeping on the ground like a dog, with nothing but a bowl of water beside him, making me regret I wasn't the one killing that bastard of Alistair. "Benjen," I called him. "Ned?" Benjen said as he woke up, startled by voice. Why are you here?" "Apparently saving your sorry arse," I said as Jar Mormont opened the cell. "Alistair let you set me free." "Odd?" Benjen sighed. "He is dead, not by my hand, sadly," I stated. "How? Who?" Benjen inquired. "It's a long story," I answered. After explaining Benjen what had happened and why I was here, he visibly relaxed, saying he had seen the army of the others firsthand, and that we weren't ready to face it. Even with the weapons of Dragonglass Ronard had sent to the wall, Benjen was sure we would lose the wall if a battle broke free. "The others are terrifying, Ned. The move is a singular unit. No fear, no hesitation. Their sheer numbers alone are more than enough to crush any army." Benjen commented with a worried expression, "Is the king ready for this?" Ronard, has been preparing for this for a long time. "We might not be completely ready, but we have a fighting chance, that much I know," I replied. After all, we had thousands of dragonglass weapons and other tools to face the others, including the dragons we had in our side. "A fighting chance, that's better than nothing," Benjen sighed. "I've also set some defensive measures in case the others cross the wall," I informed Benjen. "Like what?" Jar Mormont inquired, taking a seat in front of us. "Well, after the battle in King's Landing, Renard acquired a massive quantity of wildfire, and with that I set traps around the forest, making sure to evacuate everyone from the nearby villages," I told them. "You plan to set the forest on fire, that would slow them down for a bit, and if we are lucky, it would kill quite a few of those things." Benjen said in deep thought, "Did you bring some of that wildfire here to the wall?" I nodded. "We might want to set some of it inside, in case we know there is no chance to stop them," Jar Mormont offered. "That was part of my reason to come here," I informed them. "I wanted to make the entire wall a bomb, making the wall our first line of defense and offense." "That would certainly be helpful," Benjen nodded. As we continued to talk about strategies, the ground began to shake, with a rhythm. Then, with a loud roar that made everyone in the vicinity clutch their head in pain, I ran towards the widow. But I saw nothing. "What was that?" I inquired. "We have to evacuate," Benjen answered. "The others are moving towards the wall," Jar Mormont commented. "Bring the wildfire, set the trap, and leave." "I will set the wall into flames." "I can't let you do that." I shook my head. "Ned, I'm old. I lived long enough to see my family crumble with my son and rise with my grandson. If I live, I will be nothing but a burden. I'd rather die like a warrior being useful than to die like an old man that couldn't do nothing. Besides, it's not that bad. I'm going out on my own terms," Jar Mormont reassured. "I will go down with as many fuckers I can take." "Your grandson will be proud of you," I nodded, knowing full well how stubborn the Mormonts were when they made a choice. "Not more than I am of him. Now, bring the wildfire. We don't have time to waste." Jar Mormont smiled. You heard the man. Start setting up the trap," I shouted as I ordered my men to move as fast as they could with the plans. "Ronard Mormont, POV. Is that all you can do?" Neltharion taunted. "Do you want to be the first dragon to be burned alive?" I smirked at him as I dodged the stream of fire he blew at me. "As if you could," Neltharion hissed. "You ask for it, son." I smirked, taking a deep breath, gathering all the fire I could within myself as I then expelled from my mouth into a literal sea of flames that immediately covered the dragon in a wave of infernal fire that leaves nothing to be seen behind him. "I knew you had a dragon in you," Neltharion hissed happily, smoke coming out of his scales. "That was the best fire breath I have seen." "Well, I had a good teacher," I praised him. "Well, that's true," Neltharion hissed happily. "I think you are ready. Now we can finally spar for real." "Sparring with a dragon. Well, I suppose he is the only one strong enough to push me." "Fine by me," I smirked. "Oberyn Martell, POV. "Hello, brother," I greeted. "Hello," Doran smiled. "Anything new?" Well, where do I begin? And so I started, explaining my brother that the real war has barely just begun, that the others were coming and that Renard alone was not enough to face them, and that as the loyal allies we were, we had to help our king with all our might. "The others, that's a bedtime story for children," Doran sighed. "So were the dragons?" "This is real, Doran. We need everything we can provide, and even that we cannot," I said with a serious tone. This was not a laughing matter, this was life or death, and I wanted to live. You believe him? Dorne inquired, looking at me firmly. With every fiber of my body, he is not only my king, but my friend. I answered without hesitation. I was a knight of his round table, his friend, his brother in the battlefield, and I would not let him down. Very well, Dorne sighed. You only get serious if the subject requires you to. If Ronard and his tales have so much weight with you, I will do everything to help you two. Better safe than sorry. Yes, that's the gist of it. I laughed.